everybody. Good morning. How's everybody doing? It's Dr. Cindy Stark coming in here live for my Tuesdays at 10 talk. I'm going to make sure some people are getting on before I start talking. Someone just give me a hashtag live and tell me that you're here. So I'm Dr. Cindy Stark. I am a hospitalist by day for 15 more days. Taking care of patients here in Gainesville, Georgia at Northeast Georgia Medical Center. But at night, I run Soul Circle Academy, where I take people from forlorn and just so frustrated with how their life is going, repeating like self-sabotaging habits over and over again, and we literally rewire their subconscious mind, and we take them to new heights of assuredness and confidence, and get rid of all the effects of childhood trauma in their mind and their subconscious mind and their background, because you are not what it is that your past is. You are what you create in your future. Hey, Jenny, live from Melbourne, Florida. Thanks for being here. But today I'm going to take a little bit of a different gear, and I'm not going to talk about subconscious mind, and I'm not going to talk about childhood trauma. I'm going to talk, hey, Pat, how are you doing? Good morning, girl. I'm going to talk about something else that is very near and dear to my heart, and it kind of came up in the talk that I did last week, and we started talking about what are other things that are not making you feel like you want to feel in your life. And one of the things that one of my clients had come up with is she just said, I just wish I had better sleep, Dr. Stark. And I was going to talk about sleep today, but Michelle, I'll get to that next. I decided last week what I'm going to do is every other week I'm going to talk about subconscious and childhood trauma, and then every other week I'm going to talk about something that I would call your physical health. So this is more, the other is your subconscious health and your mental health, and this is going to be more physical health. So what I'm talking about today is nature. And ever since I was very young, I think I probably started really getting into this habit and this craving probably when I was about 17 years old, but I had to go and get my mountain fix. And you can ask anybody that knows me, I would have to go camping about once a month, if not more often. That was just the minimum, and just get out in nature. And so what I wanted to come and talk to you about today was just some things that I know and some things that have really helped me. And you will not ever hear this from any other doctor. You will just hear this from me. I have an unconventional way of thinking about life and health. That's one reason why I am resigning from medicine. I don't want anyone to think that your health is due to some doctor prescribing he or she prescribing you medicine that's going to make you healthy. I want you to know that you can be healthy yourself, and it's just by little tweaks, different ways of thinking about things that will actually physically build your body up from the inside out. So what am I talking about with this nature fix? So just think about it. Just close your eyes for a minute and think about all the trees and all the vegetables and all the flowers and everything outside. Everything out there, outside of your house and outside of your physical body, right? The skin runs on its own imprint, okay? So it's just like this auto-renewing source of energy, circadian rhythm, if you want to call it. And our body is supposed to be like that too. But if we are always housed inside houses, inside cars, inside buildings, inside our jobs, inside the hospitals where I spend a lot of my time, inside hospitals and stores, schools, your body's not seeing those internal cues that it's supposed to be using the outside and nature to rely upon. So there's nature's cues out there for our body to run on, but we have to be able to make our bodies see and feel those cues in nature, okay? So that's one way to think about it. So all the serotonin, yeah, Penny, thank you. This is gonna open your mind. And please, today I want this to be more of a dialogue than ever before. I'm just gonna start asking y'all some questions because I really wanna know. I have 4 pages of notes here. My mom spent the night with me last night, and she said, I know you're gonna say you've only gotten through 1 page of notes and you're gonna be like 27 minutes into the talk. And that's okay, because these are just talking points, and if it takes me 4 weeks to go through these 4 pages, I am fine with that. Jenny's at the beach. Tell me you're barefooted and tell me you have your feet on the sand, because that's one of the things I need everyone to think about is how often do we get our bare feet in the bare earth, okay? Because most of us, from the time we were probably 3 months old, we've had some kind of covering on our feet. And that right there is this innate wisdom and energy in the earth, and you need to get it in contact with your body and not just your feet. Put minimal clothes on and actually lay on the earth and let your body just absorb all that good energy that's actually living right there, free for the taking. You don't have to go and get a prescription to help you sleep, or get a prescription to make you happy, or get a prescription to rebuild your gut bacteria. We're going to get into all of that on this talk. And like I said, if we don't get to it today, I'll get to it over the next few excuse me, every other week talks. But so I'm here with my mom this morning. She spent the night last night, and I wanted to give y'all an update. She had been having, she's 76, and I've been noticing probably for the past 8 months, she's been walking kind of different. And she's a very active, very young, always acted and really acted a lot younger than almost any of us other people do in the family. But she just started moving less and less and less, walking less. And then when she was walking, she was not walking very well. Long story short, she was literally walking crippled with a terrible limp. And so we took her, and I want to do a shout out to Dr. David Woodbury in Longstreet Clinic. We have developed a new center for neuroscience and orthopedic surgery at Longstreet Clinic, and it's for people who have, like, let's just say shoulder problems, or leg problems, or hip problems. Well, you can go for a year with the wrong kind of a doctor, getting the wrong kind of set of expertise. Anyway, long story short, my mom's been under investigation for a good 4 weeks, figuring out what's wrong with her walking, not getting any better. And within literally 20 seconds, Dr. David Woodbury did an X-ray. The osteoarthritis was so severe. He said it was like putting a square peg in a round hole, and she has to go for a total hip replacement in 28 days, and she's going to have her life back again. And so, how we celebrated finally getting her ability to walk correctly again is we went outside to my son's tennis match, and we stayed outside, and we just were looking, we're just absorbing all that sunshine from 4:30 to 6:30 on our bodies and on our faces, and looking at the clouds and feeling the wind. And it just made me realize just how much we need to know about what's out there in nature that can help you get healthy. And so one thing I want to really make you realize is when you go to sleep at night, first of all, I want everybody to write in the comments what's your ideal number of hours of sleep that you would like to get, and then just write dash how many hours that you do get. So for me, my ideal is 8 hours. I would love to sleep from probably 10 at night until 6 in the morning, and I get about 6. So, hey, Michelle, and hey, Pat, thank you guys both for being here. So, if y'all can just write how many hours you get a night. So, what I'm thinking about, and what I wanted to impress upon you guys this morning, is that the time to think about sleep is not right when you go to sleep at night. Okay, it's not at 9 o'clock when you're wanting to be completely in deep sleep by 10 p.m. You don't start thinking about sleep at 9 and how am I going to get myself to sleep. What you actually have to do is start thinking about it at 6 in the morning. And so there's only one type of light that gives you all of the spectrum of wavelengths of light that makes your melatonin the exact perfect way. All right, no one is writing in the comments how much sleep they get, but that's okay. And that is natural sunlight. All right, so natural sunlight is 100 times more bright than the light that you get inside of your house. And even if you think, oh, I got exposure to light because I was behind a window, a really sunny window. Thank you, Jenny. All right, she's 6 to 8 hours ideal, and she only gets 4 to 5. Exactly. And hey, Jutta, it's good to see you too. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. So anyway, when you get out there into the natural sunlight out in nature, you will get 100 times the amount of brightness, and you will get that full spectrum of sunlight to help your melatonin do what it's supposed to do when you go to sleep, right? So at 6 a.m., if you can get just 30 minutes between 6 and 8:30 a.m., that will help your melatonin be what it's supposed to be at 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever time you want to, whatever time you normally want to get to bed. So I see 8 to 9 hours, and everybody I would kill or maim for 8 hours, but I actually get 4. Yeah, and I'm just here to tell you, there is so much repair. I know everybody knows this, but there's so much repair that happens at night. And Pat's saying 5 to 6 hours. Hopefully that's what you get, or I don't know, maybe it's your ideal. But when you go out there, your genes are actually, when you know your circadian rhythm, it's 24 hours, right? Your body's expecting certain things every 24 hours, just like all the trees and all the flowers outside. They expect something to happen. That your genes are made for something to happen every 24 hours, and our genes expect sunlight on our body so that we have the exposure that we need, so that our cortisol level and our circadian rhythm get in touch with each other. And one of my rituals that I do right before I come in here every Tuesday at 10 to talk to you is I go out for about 10 minutes and I just put my bare feet in the earth, and pray, to God for him to just put the words in my mouth that you guys need to hear, so that y'all can live your ideal health. Because what I'm coming to realize is that you can do so many things right in your life, and you still aren't living. You still don't have the exact mood and personality maybe that you want. You still don't have the sleep that you want. Your digestion still isn't exactly what it needs to be. And if it's too much for you guys to go out and get 30 minutes of sunlight between 6 and 8:30 a.m., I do know that can be nearly impossible for some times of the year, and just that sometimes because people's jobs. Then even if you can just get out 2 times a day for 10 minutes at a time, eat your lunch outside, go for a short walk, just do anything, and preferably do it with no shoes on. Grounding is so important, to our body and to our health. And you don't only need to get outside, right outside your house and in your what I say, your zip code, but also to distant locations too. All right, so there'll be different things, and different bacteria, and different microbacterial components in the air right here in Georgia than there would be in Maine and in Oregon. And the other thing I want to let you guys know about, that weight for weight, we are actually more bacteria than we are human. And just to give you a perspective of how much bacteria is in our body, there are 1 billion bacteria bodies, all right, in each drop of fluid in our colon. And we need to know, it's a different way of thinking about life, I know, but you need to care for them so diligently and with extreme care. One thing my mother's going to have to do before that hip surgery, and it just kills me, but she's going to have to literally put antibiotic ointment in her nose twice a day for 5 days before she goes to the surgery, because the last thing that surgeon wants to do is to spend all that time and all that money getting her a brand new hip and then get it infected. And so one of the reservoirs, of bacteria that can actually be bad bacteria to seed when you go into and put a foreign body into someone's, thigh, that's going to live in her body for the rest of her life, is your nose, and then her teeth too. Our teeth are very, very important. So she can't get any kind of dental manipulations for another 6 months, after she gets that hip replaced. So we're going to have to really do some severe rehabilitation of her gut bacteria after she has to put that in her nose. So one thing I want to let you guys know, all right, Jenny is saying, listen, when I lived in Oregon for 10 years, the first 4 years, she had 5 months of continuous rain, and then she ended up with a vitamin D deficiency. People use something called happy lights out there in order to get the vitamin D that they need. Yes, and there are certain kinds of lights that you can put inside your house that will also help you. But even on a cloudy day, you get 10 times more sunlight and good light than outside on a cloudy day than you do just staying inside your house. Hey, Brenda, it's good to see you. Yep, she's been grounding since 2020. It doesn't surprise me. Brenda is a pillar of health, and I really look up to you and love everything that you send me. She is always sending me good things. So in our bacteria, and the one reason I'm talking about bacteria is because in order for our bacteria and our colon to be how it needs to be, we need to eat from the earth, okay? Just think about all of the energy that is in the galaxy and in the planet. That energy is transmitted into fruits and vegetables that are made out of the earth, okay? And then we get those into our body, and that feeds our good bacteria that's all in our colon. And in your colon, there's all kinds of beneficial bacteria, all right? And they are responsible for all these things. I wrote down, I don't even know, at least 10 things they're responsible for. Hormone production. We can't make our own hormones in our body. We have to use the bacteria in our colon to do that for us. It's responsible for your cravings. There are doctors that have actually transplanted. This is so disgusting in my opinion, but this is what scientific research shows. They have transplanted colon contents from one person's colon to another one, and it will change your cravings and make you lose weight or gain weight depending on the particular profile of bacteria that are in your colon. The bacteria that are in our colon also determines our mental health and our personality and our mood. It also determines what kinds of cancers we're predisposed to, how we metabolize fat, and then also our brain chemistry and predisposition to diabetes as well. So our bacteria need us to feed them, and that's why we have to eat fiber from the earth to feed them, because again, it's this symbiotic relationship. But then also we need them for all those things that I just said. So they're just as important to us as we are to them. And you literally can't stay alive unless you feed those bacteria. So just start thinking about that. Get outside, get that circadian rhythm going, get those 30 minutes, even if you can't do it between 6 and 8:30 in the morning for your melatonin optimization, then at least get out there 2 10-minute times a day. And then if you fix your gut and you expose yourself to nature, then you also will fix your sleep. And everybody is a happier person when they sleep. And so I think about the same thing about how important our bacteria are is the same way you can think about when like I was telling y'all, Wyatt's drama, his musical theater season just ended this time last week. And I was so upset. But the actors are not the real players on the show. Okay, you think about the actors, which and that can be kind of likened to our health. Okay, the actors on stage and our health. You think that's the real player, but really think about if there wasn't sound to help us hear what the actors are saying and light for us to see what the actors are doing, then it wouldn't even matter that the actors were there doing anything. And then the sound wouldn't be able to be the sound unless we had the maintenance workers and the power workers. And then the light wouldn't be anything unless the light company was bringing us the light. And then you couldn't see anything and get to your seats unless the cleaners were there cleaning the aisles out of the floor, like all the trash. So you need to stop thinking about you need to really examine how you think about what are the real players in the show. Okay, it's that the same way that those maintenance workers that clean the aisles, and then the power workers and the sound, that's what the bacteria do in our body. They're the real players of the show. And there's just everything about it is important, but unless you have that very first layer, all this other stuff just doesn't even come into fruition. And so again, we in America, and I know that we've all just lived through the 2 years of the pandemic. Oh my gosh, I wanted to tell you something I'm so excited about. They actually told her yesterday that this was the very first day. Yesterday was the very first day that you do not have to get COVID tested before you go in to get your surgery. So it's at such a low level now, you don't even have to get tested for it anymore. I was just like, I almost started crying right then. I just could not even believe it. We've finally gotten to the phase of this where it's such low levels that they don't even have to test for it. But again, we've been through these last 2 years super sanitizing everything. We're told by not only people in the American government, but from all over the world, that every virus and every bacteria was bad. So sanitize. Do the all the hand sanitizing gel, and scrub it. And then even if it wasn't the pandemic, then just people that just take really, really long hot showers and just like super scour every single part of their body. None of that is good for your body. the bacteria that we need to live the life that we need to live, okay, and have optimal health, lives all over our body. So you need to really examine, and if this is something that people are interested in, we can go into more depth on the next talk. But we need to really examine anything antimicrobial that you put on your body. And I know, of course, a lot of us use antiperspirants and deodorants, and those have antimicrobial properties, right? But just think about anything you put on your face and anything that you put on just anything inside or outside of your body. And dirt, all bacteria and viruses are not bad. They're actually really good, and they really help us with everything in our life. So it's not just the raw materials that we need, like eating the right foods and getting in the dirt and getting our skin exposed to all that really great sunlight, but then that gives us the raw materials to build our bacteria up. I always think about if you wanted to build a craftsmanship home that would last for 100 years, would you go get powder and twigs and pine straw? Heck no. You would go and get the highest quality ingredients that you possibly could, right? The best raw materials, and you would get the hardy planks of wood and the concrete and all that stuff. So think about that, about when you're putting stuff in your body. Don't give yourself junk and expect that you're going to have this masterpiece of a body. And it's not I'm talking about masterpiece like let's have ripped bodies with a six-pack abs. I'm just talking about a healthy functioning immune system and a stable mood. Because I mean, the phrase "you are what you eat" really is true, and the more junk you put in, your body literally has no way of building the proper body that you need to have. So not only do you need the raw materials, but then you also need to avoid things that are hurting our bacteria. Okay, like I'm saying, anything antimicrobial that you use, I would really caution people against using hand sanitizers. And how many antibiotics have you taken in your life? Y'all put that in the comments. How many rounds would you say, and it can be an estimate, 5, 20, doesn't matter, the exact number doesn't matter, but how many rounds of antibiotics have you been on in your life? I know so many people, especially with pediatricians back in the 60s, and maybe pediatricians now. My kids have each been on, I think, 2 rounds of antibiotics each, but they're just, I don't know if it's us moms and dads or if it's the doctors just trying to treat people and street people, but they're just so quick to give people a prescription for antibiotics. But it's said, it's average that most people, by the time they are 18 years old, they have taken 17 to 18 courses of antibiotics. And that each one of those courses of antibiotics, yeah, lots. Yep, I figured people have been on a lot. I mean, I know I spent 5 years in urgent care, 5 years in internal medicine clinics, 2 years at urgent care, and 3 years in a traditional internal medicine practice. And people would come to me literally demanding an antibiotic. And I'm not talking about penicillin or doxycycline. I'm talking about the big gun antibiotics, Cipro, Levaquin, Augmentin, like really broad spectrum antibiotics. They would demand those for one day, less than 24 hours of having a sniffle. And that's one reason why I had to get out of outpatient medicine, because the expectation was staggering what people would expect me to do for them. And then, like, if you don't give them a prescription for an antibiotic, they feel like they've wasted their time and their money coming to see you, when 99% of those sniffles are due to self-limiting viruses that mean self-limiting, meaning they're going to go away on their own within 7 to 10 days. Wow, at least 30. Well, we need to really rehabilitate your gut bacteria, because and I can show you exactly how to do that. But our bodies, every time we take a course of antibiotics, we wipe out 30% of our good bacteria. So yeah, they're maybe wiping out the bad bacteria. Let's say you actually do have a bacterial infection that needs an antibiotic, which is rare, but so it'll get rid of the bad bacteria, let's just say, that's causing your sinus infection, but then it also will wipe out 30% of your good bacteria. So there's ways to rehabilitate that. And yeah, don't even get me started on that. Antibiotics have terrible side effects she's getting anaphylactic shock because of Bactrim. So another thing that I want you guys to think about, and I'm going to be wrapping up here because I only have 6 minutes left, but our body has an amazing immune system that has its own uh, antibiotics, antivirals, antiparasitics, antifungals, and those are called our T cells and our B cells and our antibodies, all right? And they're circulating like a war, like a battalion of officers ready to go into ward anytime we need to. You see something coming into your body, and your body knows exactly how to eradicate that. If you are functioning properly, doing all these other things that I've said, and I tried to summarize them in the right before I even started talking today, summarize my talking points, because I know I've really gone through a lot, and I want you guys to be able to have an easy access to go back and look at it. But anyway, most of our immune system lies in our gut. So 60% of our immune system lies in our gut, but the very, very first line of defense are little bacteria that we have that are healthy, that live in our nose and in our mouth and then in our respiratory tract. So right when you inhale a pathogen, then there's things that are right in your respiratory tract to kill those. So again, if I want y'all to think about it, I have something I'm trying to say. I hope it's coming across the right way. But just because you get exposed to something, so let's say somebody has COVID or somebody has strep throat or somebody has the flu, just because someone comes into your house and has those infections does not mean that everybody in the house is going to become susceptible to those and get it themselves. All right, you have to have the right environment to become susceptible to it, and you can really increase your chances of not getting sick by taking care of all these different parts of your body that like Jenny is saying here, she's prone to bladder infection. So there's ways that you can really protect the health of your bladder and your urinary tract. And again, the back to your first line defense in your bacteria, the bacteria that naturally live in our mouth and our nose and our lungs. The simplest and the best way to make sure that those bacteria are all healthy and doing their job is the rule of 1, 2, and 3. And basically, it just you're gonna those bacteria, in order to live, need that fiber, and they need fiber from the earth, like what I was telling you about. Just imagine all that energy from the planets and the galaxies. And so if you eat 1 serving of fruit or vegetables for breakfast, 2 servings of fruits or vegetables for lunch, and then 3 servings of fruit or vegetables for dinner, that will be your best way, your simplest, your best, your easiest, your cheapest way of making sure that you have the best chance of ideal health. And if you're not eating 1, 2, and 3, then fruits and vegetables for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then let that just be something that you try. And even if you can't do, that would be 5 servings a day. Even if you can't do that, just try to add one thing. Always, whenever I'm helping people examine their eating habits and why they're not as healthy as they want to be, instead of taking a bunch of stuff away, I just say, let's not take anything away. Let's just add things. So one thing you can just add is just 1 simple serving. I mean, it's like the size of what fits in the palm of your hand. Just do green leafy vegetables. That's the easiest one. If you just have a bag of spinach, if you like spinach, if you don't, choose something else, of course. But just add one serving of that to your food intake for the day. So anyway, I hope that all of this has been helpful to people. I hope that this has served you guys, given you something to think about. If not, if y'all don't like this as much, I can go back to what I have been doing every Tuesday at 10 for the last 7 months, and that is how to rewire your subconscious mind, and just coming up with different things to make you aware of what you're doing to poison and sabotage your chances of happiness in your life. But again, always think about people on a continuum, and if you're ready over here and you're really aware of everything you're doing to make your body not as healthy as you want it to be, and you're not sleeping well, and you're having recurrent infections, and you really want to take a deep dive and examine, yeah, Diana, like that 1, 2, 3. It just is something really easy to think about. You just have to make yourself do it. But if you're ready to really get rid of just like, so let's just say you're really overweight and you have diabetes and you're on 12 prescription drugs and you're sick and tired of living that way and you know there's a better way to live, then just reach out to me and let's talk. But if you're just becoming aware and you're just wanting just to do a little tip or trick just to help you a little bit, then just do what I'm saying and just add one serving of vegetables a day. And if you're over here just gathering information and you're at this end of the continuum, that's fine too. It's my pleasure and my honor and my commitment to come in here every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time and give you the best things that I know that will help you live the life that you want to live. But you guys, I'll see you next Tuesday. And again, DM me if you have any questions, and or if you want to look into Working 101 so you can actually design your ideal life and health the way exactly you want it. I'm always living in the DMs. Thank you, Michelle. I like what I'm doing with the talks too. And we'll do the sleep one soon. But you guys have a great rest of the day. Take care, and I'll see you next Tuesday at 10.